Alright, so for some reason my phone wouldn't let me record earlier because I guess there's not enough space on it, but now I got that figured out. So, doing a quick review on the 2017 Elite Option 7 that I picked up for this year. One of the biggest things I've noticed about the Elite bows comparatively to the other companies that are out there is the shootability that they preach about. You can actually tell the difference in it. The back wall on these is so solid, it literally feels like the bow could hold itself at full draw with just a little bit of weight of your hand. Now, it doesn't want to run out of your hand, obviously. Like I said, this is the Option 7, so it's a 7-inch brace height bow. So pretty forgiving in that aspect of it. But just comparatively to everything else I've shot the Hoyts. Even before I bought the Elite bows, I've shot Matthews. I've shot Bears, just like I think most people when they first get into the archery game, if you will. But it's just hard to explain it. If you haven't shot one of these bows or any of Elite's bows, you need to go check them out. There's no way that anyone can be disappointed with them. But this is going to be a quick little review on the new Option 7 for this year. So the Option 7 and 6 is going to be 32 inches, axle to axle. This one, obviously, I have in all black. So no frills, no special colors or anything like that. I'm a pretty simple kind of dude. I like everything murdered out. But that's what the kids are into nowadays, so it is what it is. So this is Elite's first try at split limb bows. Now, for the vast majority of people out there, it wasn't really a big deal, but for a company that's only doing has only done single limbs for the longest time, this was a huge step. There's a lot of technology that they had to put into these bows. Let's see here. So I'm shooting this bow at 70 pounds, 28-inch draw, which for me is a Mod 7 cam. And if you go to Elite's website, depending on your draw length, they'll actually tell you what your draw length would be and what your bow will IBO at peak weight at your draw length. So for me, a Mod 7 cam at 28 inches of draw, 70 pounds, equals out to, IBOs roughly out to about 312 feet a second, which isn't that bad. I'm not a huge speed guy anymore. That's just not what I'm into at this point in time. So, on top of, it's hard to explain, like there's so much about these bows that everyone wants to rave about and everyone's already talked about, but it's hard to explain how nice these really feel and how nice these are until you actually get one in your hands. The grip, they actually changed a little bit for this year. So as you can see there, if I get my freaking hand right, it's kind of your standard thickness and then it tapers down right there into the rear. So when you're at full draw, you can essentially hold the bow in your hand just like that. Like for me, I hold it just about like that roughly at full draw. Leading from the grip is coming into the new roller guard system. Now, this is pretty cool based on the fact of it's not like every other roller guard system out there where essentially you just have your roller guard in place. There's no tuning you can do to it. There's no modifications you can do to it. It's just there. Now what Elite's done is they have these little set screws right here. And essentially what that is for is when you go to tune your bow, you can add a little bit of tunability with this LTR system right here, which is the LTR roller guard system. So if you're shooting a little bit bigger fletch or you're shooting like a 4-fletch arrow, you can essentially move that thing in or out to give you a little bit more clearance. But also if your bow's kind of tuning a little bit different, that actually aids in tuning. So you get a lot more adjustability as far as that goes. So that is kind of the big deal that everyone was talking about this year. Now they also switched to a better riser material. I don't know how many times stiffer it is, but from what Elite has claimed, it's much stiffer than their last year's model. But also it remains a very light bow. You're looking at about 4.3 pounds. For a bow of this quality and this construction, they've done everything they possibly can to strengthen the riser at the top and the bottom here, as you can see, just like a lot of companies are doing nowadays. but they still maintain that light feel in your hand. When you pick these bows up, they don't feel like you're holding a brick. Now, while we're still on the topic of the riser is coated with what they call a rhinodized coating, which is pretty sweet in any of the color combos I've seen so far, even the ones that they dip to get Realtree or Kuiu or anything like that on there. So the riser material is pretty tough and durable, as far as I can tell. Anyways, I haven't gotten a chance to take this out yet. I'm gonna go ahead and do a setup video here in a few more days. So I'll let you guys go ahead and check that out. Now, beyond the riser, you're going to come into the string system. Now, the string and cables, everyone knows that you're looking at BCYX material from Winner's Choice. Pretty much the best strings available on the market, in my opinion. Now, there's maybe some better out there than this, but this is just what I like. Now, just about everybody has shot BCYX materials, or everybody has bows, or that makes bows, put strings on them that are BCYX. But Limb Saver is pretty much the best in the game, and in a lot of people's view. But again, this is just my opinion. Everything's already pre-stretched, so you're not gonna have to worry about any stretching of the string and having to retune your bow or anything like that. So I mean, you're getting into a lot less headache in most cases as compared to years ago, where everyone knew the strings were going to stretch, so you'd have to buy the bow, shoot it, they'd stretch out, retune everything, then you would go back, kind of go back and forth with that. Now, as far as on the dampening system on this bow, Elite has added these little Limb Saver dampeners in here, and really, they're just really gummy, but I mean, they're good at what they do. They definitely dampen the vibration in the bow, but this bow is already dead in the hands as is. But it's just a little bit added noise dampening and shock and vibration dampening. So they've added it, obviously, like I said, they put it up at the limbs, and they put it down here right on your string stop. So as your string slaps that, this is going to absorb most of the vibration, and again, this is Limb Saver. So, I mean, all in all, just a freaking awesome bow. So I don't know, I keep getting off topic, but it's one of those things that it's just hard for me not to look at it. Now, you move down to the cam system. Everyone's familiar with the Elite's cam system. It's pretty much the same as what they had on the Impulse last year, with just a little bit of difference that I think most people don't care about, but pretty much they're essentially the same cam. So you got right here on your draw stop, so you got your draw stop there and your draw stop pad and all that. So this is essentially what these two things right here are, essentially what make the Elite's bow show shootable and make that back wall so solid. And they have them at the top. Oops, there we go. They have them at the top and bottom cams. So, I don't know, man. I was at the shop and picked up a little bit of everything. I've shot a little bit of everything this year to see 100% what I'm gonna like or what I want to shoot. And these have just felt the best. Now, I shot the Option 6. Obviously, this is the faster bow, dropping down an inch on brace height, but then you lose a little bit of forgiveness. But it's not the same as the way like a Hoyt Turbo feels, or like a Matthews Halon 5, where they have that really, really short brace height on them, and they just feel like a bear to pull back, and they just want to truck. Which, some people are big speed guys, but I feel like the name of the game is kinetic energy. If I'm if I'm shooting 290 feet a second out of the bow, at that point in time, it really doesn't matter to me. You got guys out there that are killing stuff with recurves that are shooting like, what, 180 maybe? So I don't think that anyone's going to notice that much of a difference in speed. And if you do, then maybe that's just what you're into, but that's just not my cup of tea. But yeah, that's the 2017 Elite Option 7. And On the next video, I'll take you guys into the shop with me and show you guys how I'm setting up and what I'm